Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
They're murdering the most peaceful people we have, the people who are out on the street, young, and trying to protect other people, and they come in and murder them, and that feels terrifying, and it feels like the only hope we have is to show up here.
This is who Alex Pretti was in life. Before the world knew him as the latest to be murdered by ICE and Border Patrol, this is him at work at the VA hospital in Minneapolis as an ICU nurse. This video was shared by the son of a veteran who had passed, and Alex is reading the final veteran's salute.
Terrence Lee Randolph, March 30th, 1947, December 10th, 2024. Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom. So in this moment, we remember and give thanks for their dedication and selfless service to our nation in the cause of our freedom. In this solemn hour, we render them our honor and our gratitude.
This was posted by Jessica Hauser. I was Alex Pretti's final nursing student. He was my friend and my mentor. It doesn't surprise me that his final words were, "Are you okay?" Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm. He lived a life of healing, and he lived it well. He believed strongly in the Second Amendment and in the rights rooted in our Constitution and its amendments. He spoke out for justice and peace whenever he could. Also, a statement from his parents that I think channels so much of what the world is feeling. We are heartbroken, but also very angry. I do not throw around the hero term lightly. However, his last thought and act was to protect a woman. The sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. Alex is clearly not holding a gun when attacked by Trump's murdering and cowardly ICE thugs. He had his phone in his right hand, and his empty left hand is raised above his head while trying to protect the woman ICE just pushed down, all while being pepper sprayed. And as we've all seen in videos from multiple angles, that's exactly what happened. He was defending a woman who ICE had pushed down, then ICE pepper sprayed him, then they pulled him back into the scuffle and piled on top of him.
What is wrong with you? People, what the fuck is wrong with you? Honestly.
The Trump administration does not want you to believe what you've seen with your own two eyes. Stephen Miller and others at the very top levels of government call nonviolent protesters like Alex domestic terrorists. He never passes up the opportunity to tweet insurrection because you know that that's what they want in the end. They want to invoke the Insurrection Act so that they can complete their military crackdown on all of our communities. We cannot get desensitized to this. This is what fascism looks like. And this is what we get when people at the very top of our government say things like this.
The incident here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job.
Here's Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem talking from the same script, lying in exactly the same way about
approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
They're just liars. Here's a close-up video that the Washington Post slowed down. It shows one agent taking the gun from Alex that he had on his side. He had a permit for. Clearly, he's not reaching for it. And then the other agent executing him after the gun is taken from him. And Sarah Longwell, I think, had it right. She quotes George Orwell's 1984. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command.
The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted.
And thank God that we have all these recordings, because if more bystanders weren't courageous enough to get these videos, well, more of America might believe this administration's lies. I think this one is also important to see. This is not of Alex's murder. This is about a half hour after that happened, a couple blocks away, where ICE continues to brutalize observers. Look at what they're trying to do. After they tackle someone, they're trying to get this woman's phone.
Stop it! Stop it! I was literally right here. I was standing here.
That's what it is. Evidence is being destroyed. DHS has said only they will investigate their own crime. And there's this battle playing out the last 24 hours between the state of Minnesota and the federal government about who will investigate. Well, the state has already started collecting testimony from witnesses. I want to read from one of the witness testimonies. I am a children's entertainer who specializes in face painting. On Saturday, January 24th at about 8:50 a.m., I was getting ready to go to work when I heard whistles outside. I knew this meant that ICE agents were in the area, so I decided to check it out on my way to work. I saw ICE agents surrounding cars and punching car windows. Of course, we see this over and over again. I noticed a man, Alex, sort of acting to help traffic move more smoothly. He helped me find a place to park. The man with the phone put his hands above his head, and the agent sprayed him again and pushed him. Then the man tried to help up the woman the ICE agent had shoved to the ground. The ICE agents kept spraying. The agents pulled the man on the ground. I didn't see him touch any of them. He wasn't even turned toward them. It didn't look like he was trying to resist, just trying to help the woman up. I didn't see him with the gun. They threw him to the ground. 4 or 5 agents had him on the ground, and they just started shooting him. The man did not approach the agents with the gun. He approached them with the camera. I feel afraid. Only hours have passed since they shot a man right in front of me, and I don't feel like I can go home because I heard agents were looking for me. I don't know what the agents will do when they find me. I do know they're not telling the truth about what happened. I keep alternating between crying and feeling determined. It is important to remember the value of documenting injustice. We show up for the people who need us to bear witness, because it can't just be one group of people bearing the brunt of their tyranny. This is a struggle to protect our freedom and democracy. Those things on the line. He lost his life for those values. I declare under penalty of perjury that everything I have stated in this document is true and correct. So there you have it, a children's entertainer who specializes in face painting, demonstrating some of the best of humanity by bearing witness there in Minneapolis. And yes, it is a struggle to protect our freedom and democracy, those things that are on the line. So of course this is about the Trump administration's white nationalist anti-immigrant agenda. But what else is it about? This is a curious letter that the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, sent the day that this happened. Bondi gives Governor Tim Walz conditions for ICE to leave Minnesota. And she writes, blah, blah, blah. And then her third request, allow the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice to access voter rolls to confirm that Minnesota's voter registration practices comply with federal law. This will better guarantee free and fair elections and boost confidence in the rule of law. Well, we know Trump's track record of interfering with free and fair elections. Midterm elections are coming up in a little more than 9 months in November. And to his credit, the Minnesota Secretary of State, Steve Simon, responded immediately. The answer to Attorney General Pam Bondi's request is no. Her letter is an outrageous attempt to coerce Minnesota into giving the federal government private data on millions of U.S. citizens in violation of state and federal law. This comes after repeated and failed attempts by the DOJ to pressure my office into providing the same data. Minnesota's elections are fair, accurate, honest, and secure. Every step of the way, they are organized by local officials. Minnesotans who do honest, hard work to ensure their neighbors, friends, and family have access to a secure ballot. It is deeply disturbing that the U.S. Attorney General would make this unlawful request a part of an apparent ransom to pay for our state's peace and security. More broadly, the federal government must end the unprecedented and deadly occupation of our state immediately. The tactics used by too many ICE agents have been dangerous, destabilizing, unnecessarily cruel, and counterproductive. They are tactics that often seem aimed at instilling fear more than protecting the public. And yeah, there wasn't chaos in the Twin Cities before ICE got there. ICE brought the chaos. So this is in part about voter rolls and elections. This is where this autocratic regime is taking all this. They know that they're losing. They have a plan for the November 26th midterm elections. So don't be surprised if you see ICE activity like this in other swing states like Georgia and Arizona and Wisconsin. We have to stop this to stop xenophobic attacks on immigrant communities. We also have to stop this to stop attacks on free and fair elections. Leah Greenberg of Indivisible almost immediately came out with this video calling on everyone to call their senators.
Right now, there is a live fight in Congress about whether to give more money to this lawless agency. The bill just passed the House with the shameless full help of 7 House Democrats. Now it's going to the Senate. Senate Democrats can stop it if they stand united, so your senator needs to hear ASAP from you. No more funding for ICE while they are occupying an American city. We're going to have more for you soon, but the most important thing to understand in the face of a shocking act of political violence is that this is not the action of a strong regime. This is the action of weak, scared, flailing men who are lashing out because they're afraid they're losing control.
And so far, it's working. In a matter of hours, we got this headline. Democrats vow not to fund ICE after shooting imperiling spending deal. Key Senate Democrats said they would oppose legislation needed to avoid a government shutdown at the end of the week after federal agents shot and killed a Minneapolis resident. This is because people actually picked up the phone and called the Capitol switchboard, 202-224-3121. They called, asked to speak to their senator. Senators felt the pressure and almost immediately put out this statement. So it's working. There's more to do, but it's a start. I'm going to share in the description below a link to the GoFundMe that the wonderful Keith Edwards set up to support the family of Alex Pretti. And then I'll take us out with some words and scenes from Minneapolis, which is coping with another murder by our federal government.
We are heartbroken and angry, and we can't sit anywhere but here because we have to stand up for everyone, including ourselves, by being here. It just feels like they're murdering the most peaceful people we have, the people who are out on the street, young, and trying to protect other people. And they come in and murder them, and that feels terrifying. And it feels like the only hope we have is to show up here.